Good afternoon. I'm just going to tie my hair back before we start. And I need to get something. 1 second. There we go. I'm just getting everything set up for our second video. But I want to make sure that everything is going through my headphones and not through my phone so we don't get extra sound. So I'm going to finish putting my hair back and then we'll get ourselves ready to make some Easter bird's nest cookies. I'm also going to just double check to make sure that we are broadcasting on a Facebook like we are supposed to be. Let's just take a little look-see. There I am. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Sandra. Okay. So I am closing that other feed down. I can't see when people join. I can see some comments, not all comments. So I apologize if you send me a comment and I don't reply right away. It's because I don't see it right away. We are going to be making my signature bird's nest cookies today. I have been making these. Oh my gosh, my hair. I should have done this beforehand. For over 25 years. So I've become quite well known in my family. And I have the recipe published on my blog. So I'll share that with you after if you want to make them on your own, not following along. But for those who do want to follow along, hopefully you followed the instructions in the event because we needed to do a couple steps. I can see you now that you commented. I can see you. We had to do a few steps last night. So before we do that, I am going to see if I can add our... Oh my gosh, look at that. You guys, I feel so fancy. Okay, so we have got our second camera. This is too much. This is really too much. Anyway, okay, so we made our dough last night. The dough is cream cheese, butter, and then I added in flour, coconut, and baking powder, and salt. So, hi Sandra. Oh, good. I'm glad that's good for you. So I am actually looking at my recipe that we got out of a magazine back in the 80s. I've changed it a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. And today I am actually making a half batch of these because 2 reasons. 1, I'm basically going to have to eat all of these myself. 2, we did not actually have enough butter left in the house to make a full batch until I get groceries tomorrow. So I thought a half batch is fine. So that is what I'm going with. So I will tell you what the full scale ingredients are as well as the half amount. So this right here is supposed to be a full brick of cream cheese, 3/4 cup of butter. You mix that all together. And then you add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of baking powder, and 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And then finally 1 cup of coconut. So I halved all of those. So half a brick. I don't want to do the math right now, but whatever half of 3/4 cup is, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, half a tablespoon of baking powder, 1 cup of flour, and half a cup of coconut. So I added all of that in, mixed it all up, and then you have to sit it to chill for at least 45 minutes. So I made this last night. Oh, my mother says she's here to help me eat them, which is good because my husband can't have them because they have coconut in them. Well, that just pretty much takes care of most everybody. I don't think Dad likes these. He might eat a couple. I mean, they are a cookie, so they've got that going for them. So I took this out of the fridge a couple minutes ago so that it would start to come a little bit closer to room temperature. You do want it chilled so it's firm enough to handle, but I find that if it's too cold, then it's hard to get the coconut to actually adhere to that. So I'm going to put this saran wrap in the trash. Before we do anything else, I'm going to preheat my oven. I'm going to say 350 because that's what I want to preheat everything for, and it is 350. So I will turn my oven on. And then last thing before we get going on the cookies is I'm going to put the parchment on my cookie sheets. We've all seen me done this lots of times, so this is not anything exciting. We're just going to rip off a couple pieces so that the cookies easily come off. Alrighty, so our next task is going to be coloring our coconut. So there's some coconut. There's some coconut in the dough already, but we're going to roll these in more coconut, but we want them to be a bird's nest, and we want them to be an Easter bird's nest. So we are going to color that dough. All these cords in the way is my headphones. All right, so if you're making a full batch, you're going to put half a cup in 2 separate jars. I'm going to put a quarter of a cup in 2 separate jars, and I only got 1, so I'm going to grab a second one here. So this is an 1/8 cup measure, so I'm just going to use 2 of those, and I have a little Pyrex. Oh gosh, this is so confusing now that I have more than one camera to angle my items at, and then just an empty jam jar. So I'm going to put a quarter of a cup of coconut in each of those. Both are clean. And this is sweetened coconut. You can use unsweetened, but I don't think it's as delicious. So there's a quarter of a cup. And if I don't spill this everywhere, a quarter of a cup. This is shredded coconut. What's the other kind of coconut? It's thicker. It's the thicker shreds. I can't think of what it's called, but either one will do. And circling back to the dough itself for a minute, sometimes people ask if they can make this with coconut oil. Oh, I also added almond extract is in here as well. So you can use coconut oil instead of butter. I don't think that it makes as nice a tasting cookie. And if you don't have almond extract, sometimes people use coconut or vanilla. Shaved, thank you. Oh my gosh, yes, shaved coconut works fine too. I don't think that these are as good with coconut extract or vanilla extract. I really think it's the almond extract that gives this recipe its little something. Well, that and the eggies. But I think the almond extract really makes a big difference. So I wouldn't use anything else unless you have to. If all you have is coconut or vanilla, go for it. I would choose vanilla over coconut. I got to get my hands under control now that you can see them everywhere. Okay, so we've got a quarter of a cup in this jam jar. Nope, half a cup. No, a quarter. Oh my goodness. A quarter of a cup in this jar, quarter of a cup in this jar. If you're doing the full recipe, you will use half a cup. And then I just have some food coloring. I also have the food coloring gel. Sometimes I'll use that to make it prettier, but I'm not really feeling it. Now, I usually like to do like a combo. I change it up. I do really like what yellow and blue looks like. I don't have any yellow in this kind, and I don't want to mess around with the gel. So I'm just going to take a couple drips of the green to start. I'm just going to use 3 because I do have a fairly small batch here. And then I think I'll use blue, and I'll do 3 drops in the other one. And then we put the covers on. Make sure your cover's on good. And we give it a good shake. So you're just going to shake it until it's as colored as you want to be. If you open it up and look at it and think, oh, I wish that it was a little bit darker, you can add more dye. I quite like it to be kind of two-tone, so you can see there's darker green and lighter greens in there. I kind of like it that way. I don't like it to be super uniform. So I'm pretty happy with the green as it is. And then we'll do the same thing with the blue. Shake it all up. And then you can see the blue. Oh, where's the camera? There it is. And so then you're going to take your 2 colored coconuts. You're going to dump them in a bowl. Now you guys can see all the mess I make. So dump both of those in the bowl. And then we need to add some more regular coconut, so uncolored coconut. I'll put this over here in my dirty dish pile. And I think it's another amount of the same. So let me just look up. Yeah, so we've got, I have 1/4 cup of the green, 1/4 cup of the blue. I'm going to add 1/4 cup plain coconut. You doing the full batch would use 1/2 cup. Again, I'll share the direct link afterwards, so you don't have to be concerned with figuring out those measurements because it's all in there. And then we'll just add the last bit, just like so. And then I'm just going to give it a little toss so that we mix all of our coconut colors together. So then we have a nice mixture of the blue, the green, and the white. So I'll get rid of my color because that is done. And then I'm going to blow my nose. And then I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to fix my hair because my bangs are already falling out here. And I don't really want hair in my cookies. Alrighty, so we have our coconut, we have our dough, we don't need our measuring cup. I'm just going to get a pan over here so I have it on the side. Now, you can be very specific. There goes those brush traps. You can be really specific as to what size you make them. I think this just says like a tablespoon. I really don't. Yeah, slightly rounded tablespoons. I'm going to just switch those out. And I'm just going to eyeball it. You know, you don't want them to be too huge. You don't want them to be too small. So you want to make a rounded ball and then put it in. And I find you have to kind of force the coconut on there, especially when it's fresh out of the fridge, because it doesn't want to stick all that well. So there you go. And we just stick that on a pan. So we're just going to make a bunch of these balls. Since I'm making a half batch, this is going to go a little bit faster for me than maybe it will for you. And they tell you in the original recipe to take half of your dough and put it back in the fridge so it doesn't get too warm. But I don't think that that's necessary. Ta-da! So you can flatten it a little bit, or you can wait until we get to the next part to flatten it. Now, there's a lot of recipes out there for bird's nest egg cookies for Easter. And I'm not going to hate on all the other recipes, but this one is the best one. I mean, there's no doubt about it. A lot of the other ones are like versions of Rice Krispie squares or like chocolate haystack cookies, which are delicious in their own right. They do not hold a candle to these cookies. They really don't, because we're going to use Aggies. Actually, I am using the PC version. I like the colors on these ones better, but Aggies, mini eggs, no name version, it doesn't matter. Something magical happens when they get baked. And I've never seen another recipe that I've never seen anything that was as delicious as this, as far as a bird's nest cookie goes. So we're just going to make all these. You can see I'm really kind of working that coconut in there. Give it a little shake off. The worst thing that's going to happen is you would run out of coconut and you'd have to mix a little bit more. Like, how much of a disaster is that in the scheme of things? Not much. And I wanted to do this one early in the week in case people needed to get ingredients, because if you like cream cheese and you like coconut, you really owe it to yourself to make these cookies. Not to tell you what to do, but do it. And they do spread a little bit in the oven, so I wouldn't put them any more than 3 across. I'm not sure how easy you can see, but I'm just putting them 3 across, and I would say mine are a bit more generous than a tablespoon. Definitely not more than 2, probably a tablespoon and a quarter, tablespoon and a third. It's nothing too crazy. Because I'm making half a batch, I'm expecting this to make about 2 dozen, somewhere around there. So we'll see. We will see. And so this recipe is pretty easy to make gluten-free. It does have flour in it, but you just have to swap that for gluten-free flour. There is no eggs in it, so if that's an allergen for you, obviously they are a cream cheese-based cookie, so there is dairy in them. But as far as some of those other major allergies go, you can make these pretty easily. Now my husband, of course, can't have any because he can't have coconut, but that's his problem. You can probably hear me say that. I did try to make them some without coconut one year so he could still have them, and we agreed that they were quite sad. They were quite sad, especially when you know what they taste like when you do have the coconut in them. So we're just moving along here. So I got 12 done, so I'm going to switch out pans. I do feel extremely tricky with my split screen here. Very fancy indeed. Now Wednesday, we're making a bunny cake. And a couple things about this bunny cake. You don't need to have any fancy pans. We're going to be making our bunny cake out of 2 round cakes. So if you want to join me on Wednesday, you need to have made your cakes either the day before or in the morning early enough that they had a chance to cool. And you'll need 2, so I would just, if you have a cake mix, just make the cake mix and put it into 2 round pans and you'll be good to go. We're trying to do some easy mode things here. So I'm not going to get 2 dozen. I'm going to get maybe 18. But that's because I made my cookies a little bit big. If you were being a bit more, I don't know, precise, you could use a measuring spoon and actually measure tablespoons, or use my cookie scooper, but what fun is that? All right, this is our last one. So what's that, 16, 18? So I'm making 19, which is fine. Because normally I would take these to a couple Easter family dinners, but obviously there are none this year. So I still have a little coconut left over. I'll just save that for another recipe. I'm going to wash my blue fingers a little bit here, and then we'll get the next part in so we can throw these babies in the oven. I'm going to just get a bowl for my mini eggs here. Watch me struggle to get the bag open. So I'll just pour some oats. So you can see, like, it's a more vibrant purple. It's just, and they were on sale. So anyway, so these are my eggies. I'm going to switch out to that full pan. And what we are going to do is we're going to make our bird's nest have some little eggs in it. So we are going to start by, let's just turn this. We're going to take an egg and we're going to just press it right into a cookie. And then you're going to take a second egg and you're going to pop it in like, whoops, oh dear. So, and then I do try to change up what color combos I'm doing just so they don't all look the same. So you're going to put 2 roughly in the center. It doesn't have to be exact. Just going to push some eggies into our cookies. Now, if you are a weirdo like me, you might look and see that you have way more white eggs than you have of anything else. So I will try to put more white eggs in the cookies so that I don't end up having to have like one cookie that has 3 white eggs. That would hurt my heart a little bit. And if you're using a smaller package, sometimes you have to be a little bit more strategic if you don't want your colors to overlap within the same egg. These are things that really are not a problem. So just do whatever you want to do. All right, so we've got our first sheet. All of our cookies have got 2 eggs in them. And I'm just going to do all of them at once since I only have the 2 sheet pans, and I can fit these all in the oven at one time. So I'll put the rest of these eggs in and then we'll throw them in the oven. If you do a double batch, or not a double batch, a full batch, usually don't fit all in the oven at once. But it also allows you to work on the next half of the dough while the first half is baking. I do like to make my cookies a little bit flatter. Sometimes people will keep their cookies super round. I do like them to be a little bit flatter. All right, all right. Now we're just going to throw all of these in the oven where the magic happens. And then we are going to set a timer for 12 minutes. And to not make anyone's Alexa go off today, we will...
I don't know that one.
Oh, I still upset her. She doesn't know the answer to that. I'm going to find my countdown. And since this took me about 30 seconds, I'm going to say 11 and a half minutes. Play. All right. So in the meantime, we will do a little cleanup and we will get everything ready for the second half. So we still, or the last bit, we still need some more mini eggs. So keep some mini eggs out. I am going to clean off my counter a bit here. I should have had some trivia or something that we could talk about while we wait. Because the magic happens in the last couple minutes. So let's clean this up. So what can we talk about? My mother wants to know what everyone's favorite Easter cookie is. Well, mine is clearly this. That's all I have. Oh, no, I don't. I'm not in the thing. I was going to say I can add a, put a question box up, but I can't because I'm not right in Facebook, but that's okay. So let's see. We gotta fill some time here. Well, I'm losing it more and more every single day. Earlier, I laughed, cried over something on Instagram that wasn't even really funny. And then, we watched, she makes magical sugar cookies. I sort of feel like I make pretty good sugar cookies too, but will she make some for Easter? Are you still going to be able to have some? Is she going to drop some off? These are the things we need to know. These are the things we need to know. You mean the no-bake ones with the oatmeal and the coconut? Those are very good. I do enjoy a good mud pie cookie. So we watched an episode of Nailed It just before this of the new season. Oh man. Oh man. Those people are so terrible. I was laugh crying again. I laugh cried on the weekend so much that my husband had to stop Netflix to make sure that I was going to be okay. Let's put some chocolate in the front here so you have something to look at. Shouldn't make any for Easter since you're distancing. Yeah. Oh, you got Reese eggs. Well, that is equally as important. I am picking up our groceries tomorrow, and I have ordered Reese eggs, some Reese cups, and some bunnies to make sure that we had some Easter bunnies. Isn't that neat how I can add the little comments on the screen? I feel very fancy. Very fancy. Okay. Let's put some things in the dishwasher, which I'm going to have to run after this. So these cookies do come together very quickly. This first batch, could you use almond flour for the cookies? Probably. I'm not sure if it would work as well, but assuming you have almond flour, like the almond flour you dropped off for me for like making macarons, it probably would be fine, especially since you're using almond extract. I mean, I would try it. I would be more willing to use almond flour in place of regular flour than coconut oil in place of butter. I was going to say Berwick. Yeah, I'd be more willing to try that than some, and it probably would give a better flavor than some of the other gluten-free flours. So speaking of groceries, don't you like how you can see my arms on the other side? I ordered my groceries from Superstore yesterday, and I always order from Superstore. I have for ever since I started doing the online ordering, and I went to order from New Minus, and the earliest pickup date was Tuesday, April 14th, and I nearly had a heart attack because we're very low on food. Like we've got lots of ingredients and obviously lots of Aggies, but as far as like regular stuff, but then I went and I checked the Kingston store, and they sell loads of openings for like Tuesday onwards. So I have my groceries to pick up tomorrow. So that's a tip. If you're here in the Valley and you are picking up your groceries from the Superstore and the wait list is quite long, check out the Kingston Superstore because that one was not long at all. And also I heard that the Windsor one isn't as bad either. Also, Kemple Independent, they are doing pickup orders Monday through Friday. So that's another option. Let's see. This cough hasn't gone away yet. What happened to our timer? Okay, we got 5 minutes. About 5 minutes left. What else can I tell you about? My mother's watching. Oh, Kelly says, I had the same problem in the U.S. I placed a delivery order last week, not to be delivered until tomorrow, and I can't get one at the store at all. Oh gosh, that's stressful. Like, I mean, I'm not supposed to go anywhere because I have a lung condition, which is why I'm still coughing from a cold I had a month ago. But I mean, I could go in if I needed to. I'd rather not. And my husband isn't really supposed to go anywhere either because he has ulcerative colitis, so that's an autoimmune disorder. Yeah, it's tough. And I know a lot of people are still just going to stores like it's nothing, no biggie, but I'm really trying not to. And on Friday, I realized we're almost out of cheddar cheese, and that like sent me into a bit of a tailspin because cheese is like my life. So I've ordered extra cheese this week, so that'll be okay. But yeah, it's stressful, and I know I'm not supposed to talk about these things here because I said I wouldn't, but as someone who is used to like Monday night at like 11:30 ordering their groceries for Tuesday morning. It's been a little bit hard to get it in my head that I need to start thinking about it a week in advance. Like after I pick up groceries tomorrow, I really should start an order for next week, especially since the stores are going to be closed Friday and Sunday. So everything's going to be extra backed up. But I was very lucky to get that one for Tuesday. Oh, no, see, I don't even know what side is on. Look at this. My husband keeps talking about how we need to up the production value of my show, and I feel like it's like we just upped it like 100%. Like, you need to calm down. We've got 2 screens now. It's very tricky. Oh, and over here you can see my candy collection in the so I have lots of candy. Those gummy bears, though. I don't mean to hate on these stock and barrel gummy bears, but they must have been sitting there in that pile for ages because they are hard. He could be doing puppets. He should be doing puppets. He said I need to start using one of my signs, one of my whiteboards, and having a new sign in the background every day to make it more interesting. I'll tell him that you said that he should do some puppets, and maybe I don't think he's going to be down for that. Okay, so we have got 3 minutes, and then we're going to bring our cookies out of the oven, and we're going to put another egg in, and you're going to see what magical thing starts to happen when those eggies are in the oven. But as we're getting ready for that, I'm going to get a couple cooling racks set up so that we'll be able to do that. Whoa! And slam some cupboards around in the process, apparently. I wonder if I'll be able to fit them both on here. These cookie sheets are a bit bigger than standard, so they may fit. I'm not sure. We'll find out, and then we'll get my poor BB-8 oven mitts. Catherine gave these to me. Look how sad they're looking. Poor guy. He's been through some things. He was trying to sing a little 7-second theme song for me earlier. I can't remember what it was. It was like, cooking with Suzi. If I haven't said it often enough, I'm losing my marbles over here. So there was only a handful of them to begin with, and now there's even fewer. Oh, I guess I can put this coconut in a container while we wait. A Hello Kitty container, perhaps? And then the next time I make like a chocolate haystack cookie or something, I'll just use those. Put it in my messy baking cabinet. They are smelling good, guys. They're smelling good. I should have had some jokes lined up. So my mother might still do an Easter egg hunt. I don't know if she's still on here or not, but she put Easter candy in the plastic Easter eggs last year, and then nobody could come and do it. So she still has the ones from last year. So she's thinking about just go hiding them in the yard. My niece and nephew just live halfway around the block and telling them to get on their bikes and come up and go look for their Easter eggs, which I think that she should do. Yes, do it, because they have nothing to do. They have nothing to do. They can have my eggs. I don't need them. I'll just stay on the doorstep and watch the antics. It'll be the most excitement they've had all week, probably, because it will be. They've got nothing else to do down there. I mean, they have stuff to do, but nothing exciting like that. Oh, I should bring it down here. Okay, so I'm going to stop that because we are at time. So I'm going to bring out our cookies. I'm going to move these. We'll see if we can get them all on the island here. Whew. It's warm in there. So there's one, and you're going to see that they spread out. Uh-oh, folks. We've lost an egg out of its nest. I'll turn it this way so maybe you can see it. Look, somebody got away. Oh, dear. Now, this one is a good example. So when you bake them, not sure if you can see, yeah, on this one here in the front, it's all cracked. So it's like the eggs are cracking open. But what's even better is somehow when those eggies get baked, oh man, they become so much more delicious than they were. So update, Catherine wants to know if it's the same candy as last year in the eggs. My mother says yes, but she's tested it, it's fine. It's chocolate. I've still got my Easter bunny from 2 years ago in there. So, all right, so now we're going to add one more egg in the center of our cookies, except this poor guy, I'm going to give him 2. I don't want to touch this one because it is going to be super hot. And you can see that these ones, they poke in a whole lot better. So I'm just going to put 2 in that one because he lost his other egg. And then I'm just going to go along, and you try to arrange them so they look like 3 little eggs in a nest. And you can, if you're careful, kind of tap them down in a little bit if your other eggs are kind of poking out a little. And then we're going to put them back in the oven for just a couple minutes. So we'll get all of these in here. Remember, there's always, before they had these giant bags, I always had to get the small bag, and you always tried to make it. Well, first of all, you had to try not to eat any while you were making your eggs or your cookies, which was a task all on its own. And then I always wanted to have every egg that had 3, but you had to count all of your eggs and how many cookies you had to see if you would have enough. And then inevitably there was a couple sad cookies that only had 2 eggs. But that's not the case today. I might even add a couple eggs, extra eggs into some of these, because I was a little over generous with some of these cookies. So I'm going to go through and I am going to add maybe a couple more. I do think it looks best with 3. But you know, I also think people like eggies. And I also think I am people. So there, I'm not going to add 3 to all of them or 4 to all of them. Just a few. And then that way people who inexplicably don't love chocolate, aka Linda Pinio, will be able to choose ones that don't have as many. Okie doke. There I go with okie doke again. So we have got all of our eggs in our cookies. I am going to see if I can just easily pinch that little guy off. And then we're going to stick these back in the oven. But this time, it's only going to be for another 4 minutes. So I'll set my watch for 4 minutes and then we'll be finished. So yeah, you said that you tested the chocolate, but you don't even really like chocolate. So do we trust your judgment on whether this chocolate is good or not? So because I only made a half a batch and I was planning to make a whole batch, I still have like most of a bag of eggies. What a wonderful problem to have. Y'all remember when you could only get these at Easter? Like mini eggs and eggies, they only were out at Easter. And it made them so much more special. And then now you can get them all the time. Oh, sorry. She says she likes chocolate bars, just not chocolate chips. Maybe Susie needs to taste. Oh no, I don't need a taste test. I trust her. I'll trust her. Usually I partake in the Easter egg hunt just because I like to find things and have fun. And I don't even usually want the chocolate inside, so I just give all the chocolate away anyway. I mean, I like chocolate, but I don't really care about like Easter egg chocolate. Eggy chocolate, on the other hand, if I can get into it. What's going on here? There we go. I put those back in the baking cabinet. The less Jonathan knows about them, the best. Because if I just leave them sitting out with all the rest of that candy, they're not going to last any time at all. No, they will not. All right, so we got about 2 minutes left. Then we're going to bring our cookies out, and then you just let them cool, and you're done. So a couple of things that I've learned over the years is you're going to be tempted to eat one while it's still warm. I don't advise it. They're not that great when they're still warm. So let them cool. The Aggies that were in from the beginning, something happens to their molecular structure. I'm not a scientist, so I can't explain it. But the chocolate obviously melts inside the egg and then re-solidifies, but it is different, and it's different in a wonderful way. So don't feel like you need to have one while it's warm to have the warm chocolate in the cookie, because it is still going to be amazing after it cools down, and the cookie itself is way better when it's cool. It is not a lot of cookies are good warm. I don't think that this is one of them. So resist the urge to eat some of them while they're hot. Just don't do it. Like, you're not going to cry if you did, but you're not going to enjoy it as much. 42 seconds, and then we'll be done. So tomorrow, let's run down our schedule of events for the week, shall we? Tomorrow we have low impact fitness class in the morning at 10:30, and I will be sure to share it here in the group so that you can find it easily. And then in the afternoon, 2 is when I'm going to be doing the free Zumba Kids Junior class, and that is specifically for kids age 3 to 6. But if your kid, or 4 to 6 rather, but if your kid is 2 or 3 or 7 or 8, and you think that they would enjoy it, still come on and join in. It's on Zoom, so like usually we try to keep it in that age group because you try to keep it age appropriate. And if you have kids that are too young, it's not going to hold their attention. But like, they're not in my house; they're in your house. So it's not going to be that disruptive, because I'm going to mute everybody. It's not going to be that disruptive if they're not paying attention. So if you have kids that are younger that would enjoy it, bring them along. If you have kids that might be a little bit older but are itching for something to do, bring them too. You can participate as well. We're going to be doing a song from Wreck-It Ralph, from the Lego Movie, and from Club Penguin. So obviously Wreck-It Ralph is Wreck-It Ralph. The Lego Movie is Everything is Awesome, and then The Party Starts Here from Club Penguin. They are older songs because I have not taught this class in a while, but I checked with my friend Carmen. She tells me that kids still watch those things, so I'm assuming she knows what she's saying. And then Wednesday, I'm going to turn these this way so you can see them a bit more. On Wednesday, we are going to be having our yoga class this week. It's going to be Yoga Relax. I'm here in the group. And then Thursday, we're going to make that bunny cake. Friday, the only thing I'm doing Friday is the yoga class at 1 p.m. I'm otherwise taking Friday off because it is Good Friday. And then Saturday, I am taking Saturday off as well. So you'll have to get your fill of me earlier in the week, or save some things for the weekend when, I'm not around as much. So our cookies are done. I am going to pick up this pan so that you can get a bit of a better look of our beautiful bird's nest Easter cookies. I'm going to wait for these to cool completely and then take a couple pictures and I'll post them in the Facebook group so that if you make some cookies, you can add your pictures in the comments so everybody can ooh and ah over our beautiful cookies. But we are done. So that was our fake cooking show for today. If you left a comment and I didn't reply to it, it's probably because it didn't show up. For some reason, not everything is showing up on Facebook feeds right now while you're in a live video. So I'll go back and make sure that I have replied to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our fancy two-way thing. Let's see if I can, woo, look at that. So I hope you enjoyed that. We're not going to use the two camera thing for everything. Like yoga, obviously, we don't really need it. But of course, when we're doing our baking and our crafts, we'll have that two angle feature so that you can see a little bit better. You're very welcome. So have a wonderful afternoon. If you're part of my virtual fitness studio, I will see you at 4 o'clock for yoga. If you are part of my at-home workout program, I will see you at 3 o'clock for our live workout there. So otherwise, have a great afternoon, evening, week, whenever you're watching this. And if you make the cookies, let me know. Bye.